Hi everyone, this is Jeremy Moskowitz, Group Policy MVP and founder of PolicyPak Software. And in this video, I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to mass deploy the PolicyPak client-side extension to all of your target Windows machines. So to set the stage here, the CSE or client-side extension is the moving part that must exist on all machines that you want PolicyPak to work upon. We extend group policy and we extend SCCM, and if our moving part isn't there, we can't work. We're not an agent. I know what an agent is. You know what an agent is. We're not an agent. We're a CSE or client-side extension because we hook into the group policy infrastructure. So long story short, we got to get these two CSEs deployed, and we've got a variety of machines here. I've got Win 732, I've got Win 764, I've got a Win 864, and I've got an XP computer, which is 32-bit. So what I'm going to do to get us started here is this is what you get as part of the download right here. And I'm just going to copy the two client-side extensions to a folder called on my server called software, and I'll call this build 511. And you can call it whatever you want. This just happens to be build 511. So I'll go ahead and copy the two client-side extensions right there under software. The next thing I want to do is decide where I want this deployed. So I've got all my computers right now hanging out under the regular computers folder. And you could deploy the client-side extension to your entire domain. That's perfectly fine. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and do this to all of my East Sales desktops and laptops. So to simulate what that looks like, I'm going to take each of these computers one by one. So Win 7 Computer 32, and Win 7 Computer 64, and Win 8 Computer 1, and XP Pro 3. There we go. I'm going to take all these guys and I'm going to shove them into my East Sales desktops. Boom, just like that. So I'm just moving them over to East Sales desktops. Then, let's just make sure that they're all there. eSales desktops. Yep, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 computers right there. Then what we'll do is for all of East Sales desktops, or if you want all of East Sales, which, if you want to affect laptops and possibly servers, might be terminal servers, whatever you want, you can go ahead and I'll do this right over, say, East Sales desktops. That's fine. And I'll create and link a GPO here, and I'll call this Deploy PolicyPak CSE. Once that's linked over to our eSales desktops, let's go ahead and click Edit here. And under Computer Side, Policies, under Software Settings, I'm just going to be using good old-fashioned GPSI, Group Policy Software Installation, that's built into the box for Windows to deploy our client-side extension. So you'll simply go to New, Package, and the trick here is to use a UNC path. So I'm going to use DC under Software, and there's build 511, and I'll go ahead and pick this guy, PolicyPak client-side extension setup, 32-bit, and I'm going to go to advanced. This takes a second to come on up. It may take up to a minute or so on some slower networks. Once that pops up, let's go ahead and click over to deployment here. The only thing you need to do is click on advanced. And we don't want to make this 32-bit application available to 64-bit machines. Okay, it wouldn't matter anyway. We've got it coded inside the MSI so that it can't by accident be installed. But just for good measure, we're going to uncheck this checkbox for the 32-bit version. And we'll go ahead and click OK. And now that's assigned. We'll do New Package here, and in the same group policy object, also pick the 64-bit one. We'll go ahead and click Advanced again. And again, this takes a minute or two to come up. And now that that's there, we can actually give it a different name. We could call this, if we want, 64-bit. It doesn't really matter. It just helps us sort of see the differences there. And under Deployment, Advanced, we'll see there is no 32 or 64-bit switch. So this guy will only be deployed to 64-bit. And that's it. We'll click OK. So now let's get it straight. Let's make sure we've got it all set up correctly. We can see that we're deploying the 32-bit version, and we said not to apply to 64-bit machines. It wouldn't anyway. And then we've got the 64-bit version, which will only apply to 64-bit machines. We've already moved the computer accounts into the right place, which is our East Sales desktops. We do that in Active Directory users and computers. They're all sitting right there. And there's really only one thing left to do, which is reboot each of these machines. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and hit restart here, and I'll do one by one and show you what it looks like. And I'll go ahead and just wait a second. So Windows is starting up. Here we go, applying computer settings. And boom. So you see that it says installing managed PolicyPak client-side extension, and then immediately reboots the machine. That's exactly what we want. So when PolicyPak installs, it does require a reboot and does so instantly. And when this thing comes back, we'll be all ready to rock. Okay, here we are starting the second time after the automatic reboot. And we're done. If we were to log on here on this machine here, let's go over to Control Panel, go over to Programs, and take a look at the client-side extension here. We can see that the version is 5.11, just like what we deployed. So that's the basics. I am going to go through the motion and just show you that it does in fact work for each machine type, if you want to stick through the rest of the video and see that. So next one on the docket is 64-bit, then I'll move on to Windows 8, and finally Windows XP. So here we go with a reboot here. Applying computer settings. Now, if you don't see that it says applying the PolicyPak client-side extension, but it still reboots, that means it is happening. I have a little switch set in Windows to give me this more interesting information. And there we go. It took about a second to install. And so we're stopping and shutting down. I'll go ahead and move on to Windows 8 and show you this one as well here. Go ahead and restart. Go, starting up Windows 8 here. Here we go, installing PolicyPak 64-bit, and boom, shuts it down, restarts. Let's go over to our XP machine, and let's see what happens if we do this guy. We'll shut down and restart here. XP's launching. There we go, applying the client-side extension, 32-bit, and it should instantly reboot after that. Here we go, shutting down, restarting. Coming back up. And there we go. So let's just verify that the rest of the operating systems, I verified it on one, that it was there, but I'm going to verify it on all of them just to prove that it actually did in fact install. I'll just do them in the same order I did it in. So I'll go to the 64-bit machine, and I'll go to Control Panel here. And we'll verify that the client-side extension is build 5.11. And I'll go to the Windows 8 machine here, and of course Control Panel's a little harder to get to on this machine. Control Panel, go to uninstall here, show you that the client-side extension is there, 5.11, and on our XP machine we'll go to add or remove programs, and there is the client-side extension, and if we look at support information, it's build 5.11. There you go. So you can see it's super easy to get PolicyPak deployed on your target computers. I happen to be using Group Policy to do this, but you can use, if you have your own systems management software, to deploy any MSI you want, and it works just like this. And that's it. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and have fun installing PolicyPak and getting more secure. Thanks so much.